Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you something a little bit different that you can do with your quilt tops rather than just turning them into quilts all the time. I'm going to show you how to make a DIY footstool. I have a piece of MDF from my husband's supply. Shh, don't tell him. So using a measuring tape and whatever this tool is, I measured 12 by 12. I placed the MDF on 2 cat litter boxes. And remember, whenever you're doing work like this, use safety goggles. Safety first. I found using a handheld circular saw the best tool to get a straight line. Using tools like this really isn't that scary, but if you aren't very confident using these tools, then get your husband or whoever to do it for you. You may actually be able to get somebody at a DIY store to cut this for you too. Seriously, just think of it as a motorised rotary cutter. Here I am just filing off some of them raw edges. So I'm just going to paint the underside of this MDF. I purchased some sample paint at my hardware store. I've placed the base once again on a cat litter box, and I am just going to paint that underside because I want that MDF side not to be showing. So I just painted it just like a nice pale pink. And to be honest, it didn't take long to dry at all. And here we have it, one painted MDF. It really didn't take that long, it was a hot day. Now I created that quilt sandwich that we normally do when we do a quilt. I will link the video on how to create a quilt sandwich right now. At this point I jumped on my mid-arm and I did some free motion quilting just to make it look even more effective when we put it onto the footstool. So in each square I did like a sampler free motion quilt design, and it was good for the practice. And right here I'm doing some squigglies, so I went very geometric in the squares and I wanted to go a little bit more circular in the border work. I love free motion quilting so much. So I wanted to give you an up close of some of the work that I did inside the block sections. A couple of them are repeats, and some of them were actually more easier than I thought they were going to be. A lot of it was done via ruler work. I really enjoyed this process. And using the mid-arm has been so much easier than just using my sewing machine. Okay, so I have my 2 pieces of foam and my wooden MDF sheets that we painted. Now you are going to put the painted side face down, so we're just going to use this raw, unfinished, unpainted part here. Okay, so I got some really cheap spray adhesive. This is from the dollar store actually. I got it a while ago, so I hope it actually still works. Now you're going to want to spray your foam. Ask me how I know this. That's because I already made one ahead of time, a footstool. And if you don't spray some adhesive on the foam, it will actually move about on you. So I'm just going to press this down. By the way, this size can be any size that you want it to be. It doesn't have to be 12 by 12. I just did 12 by 12 because, you know, it's already pre-cut for me, and that was the size that I saw in the store. So I thought, okay, that is the size that I'll use. I don't know whether this is absorbed into. So I'm just going to spray it onto the wood. So press it down again. I'm just going to leave it to dry for a little while. So I'm going to spray the second one. And I put that on top of the other one, like so. It's just not going to move about on you now that you have adhesive. And I'm just going to let them both dry before I do anything else. Okay, so you have something that looks like this and the glue's adhered to it and it's not going to move on you. So what you're going to do is place your quilt top right sides down and then place your base there like so. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to wrap it over. But you don't want to wrap it fully like this because we have to attach the legs and we have to leave space for the legs to put our screws in and stuff. So we're going to find out how big we need this base to be, this quilt to be, on this top. And I'm going to do it about, like say about 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to fold the raw edge under, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so let's start making this. So I've cut it to, it's about 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fold it over here. And I only really want a little bit touching the wooden base. It's going to be a little bit fiddly. And then you're going to grab your stapler and you're going to attach it down. Once you've got that first one tacked down, it's just nice and easy after that. I got these legs from IKEA and to be honest they're a little bit too big for the project, so I would highly recommend that if you're doing it this small you would need to buy 4 separate legs. I was doing this just because it was a little bit cheaper and I really should have seen how big the legs were before I did the base, but hey ho, is what it is. The first time I did this project, I did it using fur and I used an envelope style fold. Don't do that because I don't like the look of it. I don't think it looks very nice. I'll show you a different way. I've cut off some of the bulk here, so I am just going to fold it and you're going to lift this part up and you're going to have it so it's kind of going straight down. I'm going to get this in place and I'll show you in a second. This is exactly how I want you to fold it. I want you to go straight up and down on that corner right there, not doing that envelope style. This looks much nicer, as you can see. And you may have to cut off some bulk. Just do whatever you need to do in order to make that nice, perfect fold. You may have to mess about with it a little bit. And guys, I always want you to make sure that you've always got a little inspector by your side. She does a very good job, don't you, Sophie? And here she is, my finished footstool. The furry one is the first one I made. As you can see, there's a big size difference. I kind of wish I would have made my quilted one a little bit bigger, but it looks awesome. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial on how to make a DIY footstool using a quilt top. And don't forget, I make videos every single Wednesday, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss seeing me next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.